Let's break down business structures in a way that actually makes sense. If you're thinking about starting a business or you've already started one and feel confused, this video will make everything simple. We're going to talk about business structure types, taxes, liability, what registering a business actually means, and the biggest myths that cause people stress. And we'll jump right in with 6 main business structure types. First, we have sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship is the simplest structure. One owner, no registration required. You are the business. Some people who commonly fall in this category are hairstylists, photographers, mechanics, landscapers, anyone who's doing work by themselves, offering goods or services to other people. Next up is a partnership. A partnership is when 2 or more people run a business together. They share profits and responsibility. A classic example is Ben and Jerry. You can also think about Hewlett and Packard, Procter and Gamble. The list goes on. Now this is a fan favorite, LLC. An LLC is a registered business that creates legal separation between you and the business. Most small service businesses you see today are LLCs. Corporations. A corporation is a large formal structure with shareholders and a board of directors. Think Walmart, Home Depot, Target. S Corp is a little tricky because it's not technically a business type, although the IRS does classify it as a business type. Rather, it's a tax election that you can choose after forming an LLC or corporation, usually once the business becomes profitable. If you choose S Corp taxation, the IRS will see you in 2 roles. You'll be the owner, but you'll also be an employee of your own business. That means if you work in the business doing services, running operations, managing clients, or anything, the IRS requires you to pay yourself a reasonable salary using a W-2. It's not optional. Your salary is what gets payroll taxes taken out. Then, after that salary is paid, the remaining profit can come to you as distribution, and that's where the tax savings happen. Legally, S Corps have things like shareholders and officers, but in smaller businesses, it's usually just one person wearing all the hats. The part that matters for you in this conversation is the reasonable salary rule. Lastly, we have nonprofits. A nonprofit is mission-based and is not created for owner profit. A common example of a nonprofit is the Salvation Army or churches. Not Church's Chicken either. For regular, everyday small business owners, the most 2 common and realistic types are sole proprietorship and LLC. Now, to focus on sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship is the default structure. The moment you start selling something, offering a service, and getting paid, you're a business. No paperwork, no registration. The income you earn from that side business goes on your personal tax return. And a lot of people think that sole proprietors cannot protect themselves, which is why a lot of people like to opt for the LLC. However, sole proprietors can still protect themselves by using contracts, waivers, releases, disclaimers, and having clear policies. All of those create real protection for the service or good provider. Getting down to an LLC. An LLC is a structure you register with the state. It creates legal separation between you and the business, which helps protect your assets. But I want it to be clear that an LLC itself is not the business. You can have a business without having an LLC. It is also important to note that an LLC does not change your taxes by default. You are taxed the same as a sole proprietor unless you elect a different tax status later, which means the taxes for your LLC, for your business, will be filed on your personal tax return. Somebody in the back said, what does liability mean? Liability simply refers to responsibility. If something goes wrong, who's responsible? In a sole proprietorship, the liability, of course, is on the owner. Again, with a sole proprietorship, the scope of the responsibility can be lessened or clearly defined with strong contracts, disclaimers, waivers, and clear policies. With an LLC, the business takes on the responsibility as long as it's being run correctly. However, liability protection is not magic. It does not protect you from everything. Hence, the term is limited liability. Limited liability means that the company, your business, offers some limited protection to the owners. It can minimize the owner's personal financial risk. However, the business is still fully liable for its own operation. So for example, a customer or a disgruntled client may not be able to sue you directly and bankrupt you, but they could sue your business and bankrupt your business, which is why, even if you have an LLC, it is still very important to operate with clear contracts, policies, disclaimers, waivers. In terms of taxes, as a sole proprietor, your business income goes on your personal tax return as mentioned. You pay income tax on the amount that you earn plus a self-employment tax. With LLC taxes, by default, it's taxed the same way as a sole proprietorship. Same forms, same taxes. If you have an LLC and have chosen an S Corp for tax election, then the business will have to file tax form 1120-S. The owner will receive a W-2 for their salary plus a K-1 for the profit. To recap, what does it mean to actually register a business? It means that you get an EIN, which is most commonly done when you're going to have employees or contractors. You can file for an LLC. You can get a local business license, opening a business bank account, or creating an operating agreement. Not everyone needs all of these steps, and not everyone needs them to start anything. Registering a business simply means putting it on the record and setting yourself up to pay taxes on the money that you earn. Registering a business does not mean starting the business. The business can start without registration, depending on the types of services that will be provided. So before choosing your structure and submitting paperwork, consider these questions. Make sure the structure you choose and the actions you take are aligned with your goals. Before we head out, we're going to clear up a few of these myths. Take a look. Business structures don't have to be confusing, and in fact, they shouldn't be. If you want help choosing the right structure, cleaning up what you've already started, getting your idea off the ground, making sure that everything is set up correctly, Team Turner Solutions can walk you through it step by step. Fill out the form in the description to get started. Okay, thanks. Bye.